Hello guys, JMS1 here, and welcome back to another video. Now, before I get into this commentary, I want to stop all of you keyboard warriors. Stop typing your comments, don't worry, just hold on for a second. All you fans of Half-Life Saga, Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is coming very soon. There's just been a lot of obstacles in the way. As some of you may know, I was having some computer trouble. My computer is now rebuilt and fixed, but at the same time, a microphone broke, and everything just started breaking for me at the same time, so it was a little bit difficult, but I have a new microphone on the way. I'll be recording that as soon as I possibly can, so don't worry about that. But there was something still I wanted to talk about before I got into this. There was a short commentary I wanted to do, and that's what this is. Now, some of you may have noticed from the title of the video, I'm talking about faith versus science. And before any of you get upset, any of you who are religious, non-religious, atheistic, Christian, Jewish, I don't care what you are, just hear me out for a quick sec, and maybe you might be surprised at what I have to say. So, to give some context as to where this whole charade is coming from, this morning, my buddy Jake, Insane SVK, check him out by the way, came to me on Skype and said that he had gotten in touch with a new YouTuber, and his name is Epiphany of Frank. You can check him out as well, and I will be linking his video down below, as well as making this video as a video response to said video. Now, if you want to know what he does, basically he did a Battlefield 3 video where he was talking about philosophy, the entire idea of how philosophy works, and the idea of metaphysics, and it's a really great video. I'd recommend checking it out. But there were some problems that I had with the video. Now, to preface this, I want to say that his definition of what philosophy is, basically the science and the practice of examining human thought and the world around us and wisdom as a whole, was superb. I really enjoyed that, and I think it's a great way to define philosophy. However, when he got into metaphysics, specifically when he started talking about the unknowable and the unquestionable, I did start to have some problems. Now, he seems like an intelligent guy, so I'm just going to assume that perhaps he didn't quite articulate himself the way he had intended, and he already understands this. If not, then listen up, because I'm going to lay down my thoughts on the subject. Now, the entire idea of saying that something is unquestionable and unknowable, and which, by the way, he talks about in his video, he talks about the idea of metaphysics, so I would recommend pausing the video right now and watching his video if you haven't already seen it, is he brings up that certain things, the studying of certain things that are unquestionable or unknowable, or practically, in the way he put it, things that we can't know. And as I said again, I'm not entirely sure how he meant this, but for some of you who may have misconstrued what he was saying, or however he was saying it, I wanted to sort of touch on the subject of science versus faith, and the entire idea of not being able to know something or even being able to question something. And a really good example of that would be the existence of God. Now, I know this is highly controversial, and I don't want to start any flame wars in the comments down below. So just cool it and listen up, because maybe, just maybe, I might say something that interests you. Anyway, so before we can examine what, the entire idea of a question is amazing and broad-reaching and just as massive as whether God exists, we have to first understand what science and faith means. So science, and by extension the scientific method, is, by dictionary definition, a method of research in which a problem is identified, relevant data gathered, and a hypothesis is formulated from this data, and the hypothesis is empirically tested. Now, what that means in layman terms is that a question is stated, hence, does God exist, and research and all sorts of evidence is gathered for that and examined over and over again and tested until we can come up with a theory, which is what we believe is going on. Now, basically all that means, all that mumbo jumbo, is basically just you ask a question, you test it, gather evidence, and then you formulate what you may think is going on. Now, Faith, on the other hand, while it has several different definitions depending on the context, at its core is just belief that is not based on proof. And even more than that, it is belief not only not based on proof, but that doesn't need proof, nor that doesn't want proof, which is the entire idea of many religions such as Christianity and Judaism, in that not only do you not have proof that God exists, but you don't need it, and you just have to have faith that He is there. Now, the entire idea of faith, which is belief that is not based on proof, and science, which is not even so much belief, but ideas that are based on observations and experiments, you can start to see why these things can't blend, as they are literally dictionary antonyms for each other, or I suppose thesaurus antonyms for each other. And someone who says, I'm a scientist, but also that science and faith can go together, they really can't. And although you can be someone who believes in God and can study other things and be a perfectly brilliant scientist, someone, a great mind, on the subject of faith cannot be science. And this entire idea, the reason I'm talking about faith and science and the unquestionable, is what brings me to my love for the scientific method. And when Frank said that certain things can't be questionable and certain things can't be answerable, that's where I have a problem. Because the great thing about the scientific method is that the fantastic thing about it is that there is no limits to it. The only limit is yourself. And the only thing you can do is limit yourself if you tell yourself that you cannot know something. So even if you have a 99.9999 repeating chance of not being able to find out the entirety of what our universe means, whether a deity such as a god exists, something like this, even though you might have such a low chance, you still have a chance. And the only way that you lower your chance all the way so you get a 0% chance of not knowing is if you tell yourself that you cannot know. And the entire idea behind this is that the only limit is ourselves, and that we should not limit ourselves. 100 years ago, if you had asked someone even about going to the moon, even about leaving our atmosphere, they would have said that's impossible. Or pre-Einstein, many of the things that he has observed and researched, people would have thought it's impossible. However, it happened. And the only reason it did happen is because someone decided that they wanted to know. So the entire moral of this video, and to all of my scientists out there, everyone can be a scientist and everyone is a scientist. The entire question I want to bring up is not whether we can know something, or we have the right to know something, or whether we can even ask about something. The real question is, what do you want to know? And once you ask that question, entire field of possibilities show up for you, and you do not limit yourself. So basically, this entire rant was just me starting to even begin to have a little bit of a conversation about science and faith and the unquestionable. But as I said before, Frank's video was fantastic. I would definitely recommend go checking it out and subscribing if you would like more content from him like that. It's great, and if you have any questions for me, or maybe not even a question, something you would like to tell to me, maybe you had a problem with something I said, or something I might have missed, because I am only human, and I only have a few minutes to articulate myself, and sometimes these are very difficult things we're trying to quantify. So if you have something that you would like to say, go ahead and post it in the comments below, the comments of this video, or the comments of Frank's video, if it's concerning what he has had to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.